Hi, I'm Joe Dante. This is Trailers from Hell, and we've got a great trailer for you today. For a great movie, but it's also a great trailer. It's the original Universal International trailer for Horror of Dracula from 1958. This was the picture that really put Hammer Films on the map and was sold very aggressively and made a fortune for Universal. In fact, Christopher Lee once told me that someone told him that that picture had more or less saved the studio that year. Anyway, here it is.
This is the story of Dracula, a creature who destroys all whom he touches.
So it's really kind of hard, looking back, to recreate the impact that this picture had when it came out. We weren't used to seeing vampires with fangs and vampires with blood, and we certainly weren't used to seeing so much décolletage in our horror films. This picture succeeds basically because Jimmy Sangster's adaptation of Bram Stoker's novel is very cleverly conceived to play to the strengths of the rather small-scale company that produced it. They can't afford to have Dracula turn into a bat, so we have a scene where Peter Cushing explains that vampires don't turn into bats. Obviously, there's a lot more action in this kind of a picture than we were used to in the 1940s version, and obviously because it's in color and it has excellent art direction by Bernard Robinson that makes some very small sets look like they're rather large. It really paved the way for an entire genre. The Italians copied this picture for years. Although Christopher Lee is only in the picture for less than 8 minutes, he makes such an impact that it basically launched his career. Although he later regretted being typecast, as actors who play these kind of parts often are, he did go on to make a number of these pictures of a fairly declining quality, particularly because I think the Dracula series was never really quite as clever as Hammer's Frankenstein series. And they tended to get rather repetitive. In fact, Dracula tended to be sort of given short shrift as the films went on, partly probably because Lee didn't want to work on them for too long. This trailer, however, is a fabulous trailer, partly because of James Bernard's incredible score, which just holds this whole thing together. You know, people who saw this movie in 1958 when it was new found it unforgettable. And it's been, over the ravages of time, of course, it's been copied and imitated. But there really is only one Horror of Dracula.